Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout Podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies. Presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock. Welcome to episode 13, our first episode with a guest.
And our first episode for October.
Yes.
I am so excited to have my oldest child, Rayleigh, here with us.
Hello.
Don't be shy. When we talked about doing Tales of Halloween, Rayleigh said she wanted to be a part of it because it's her favorite. So
Yes.
we're excited to have her here.
Do you have anything to plug?
To plug.
Yeah.
Follow me on TikTok. My user name is a bunch of random numbers.
Okay.
So we usually do a spoiler-free review, but this one there's not really much to say because it's an anthology. I think it's 11 stories.
It's 10 stories that presumably all take place in the same town because of the last story.
Yeah. So we're just gonna jump right in.
The first one
Yes.
is Sweet Tooth.
Yes.
I love this story.
First, though, I did want to talk about the way they do the opening for this is really cool because they go through and it's like a pop-up book. So we see little, like, almost like title screens for each story that's going to come up, and we get the names of them there.
And there's an announcer who's doing the radio station for that night.
Mhm.
Yes.
And you get to hear her the whole time.
Yeah.
And she actually she was the radio announcer in the movie The Fog in 1980, and it's Adrienne Barbeau.
Is she in every single story? Because I tried to pay attention, but I feel like there was one story she wasn't in.
She just, like, is the in-between.
But she's also in almost all of them, because almost all of them have the radio on at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's every story.
Yeah.
But she at least says her little bit before each story.
So we're just gonna jump right in. Story 1 is called Sweet Tooth.
And it follows 3 people: Lizzie, her boyfriend Kyle, and Mikey, who is the kid that Lizzie is babysitting.
Yes, and Mikey's probably, 10 maybe?
Yeah.
8, 10 years old. And he gets back from trick-or-treating, and Kyle tells him...
First, he's pigging out on candy.
And Kyle tells him the story of Sweet Tooth, and he says it
happened
was
50 years ago.
a kid that lived on their street, and...
Named Timmy.
He left to go trick-or-treating, but his parents wouldn't let him eat candy. And they'd send him to bed.
You know what it made me think of?
What?
The fact that they wouldn't let him eat the candy. It made me think of Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
When his dad's a dentist, so he won't let him eat candy.
Yeah. So then Timmy decides he wants to know what they're doing with all of his candy, and he sneaks downstairs and they're eating all of it.
Yeah. And it's a very,
It's a
very
sexual scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a very erotic scene, even before they start making out, because they do end up, like, making out in this scene. Even before they start making out, though, it just has a very erotic undertone to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any nudity in the whole movie.
Oh, no. It's, the worst is probably the cussing. I'd say that's probably why it's rated R.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
there's some gore.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
So Timmy eats all the leftover Halloween, or he...
Kills his parents.
Well, they don't show that yet, do they? They show him eating the candy?
No, he comes out. Yeah, he comes out with a cleaver.
Oh.
And because we kind of see like the cleaver first. We don't really see him. We just kind of see the cleaver, and then it comes down on his mom's head.
Yeah. And then it's them standing there covered in blood with a cleaver.
And he even eats the candy that his parents had already eaten.
Yeah, he eats all the candy on the floor, but he's still hungry for more, so he cuts him open and eats all the candy they ate.
And so Kyle tells Mikey that he has to leave candy out for Sweet Tooth or he'll get him.
The scene of him eating the candy out of his parents' intestines reminds me a lot of that one episode, the interdimensional cable episode of Rick and Morty.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
They cut open the, like, leprechaun.
Oh,
and they're
yeah, it's like the Lucky Charms parody.
Yeah.
Gross. So then we see the babysitter tucking Mikey into bed, and he asks if the story is real, and she says no, he was just trying to scare you.
And he says, he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And so she goes back downstairs, but Mikey gets up and leaves a candy bar right inside his door.
And I didn't recognize the name of the candy bar, so I wonder if it's like a Trick or Treat that no one wanted their candy in it.
It's a Carpenter bar.
Is that a real thing?
No, it is a nod to John Carpenter.
That makes sense.
So there's a lot of references in here to him and the
Mhm.
fog and a lot of old timey horror stuff. Like
Yeah.
not old timey, but
Yeah, like one of the things that after Timmy puts his chocolate bar down and the babysitter and his boyfriend and her boyfriend.
and Mikey, not Timmy.
Oh. Mikey. Guys, I just know this movie. Oh. I just know this movie because I watch it every year. I haven't seen it in a couple weeks, but whenever Mikey puts his candy bar down, they go back out and they're watching an old-timey movie.
It's Night of the Living Dead.
Is it?
Because
Okay.
it keeps playing over and over, yeah.
Thing
Like, I wonder if you could piece together all the moments that are in the movie.
You could.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one thing I read on IMDb said that's how they keep the timeline. That's how they keep you on the timeline of what's happening.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
And so, what's the babysitter's name?
The babysitter is Lizzie, or Liz, because I think Mikey calls her Lizzie, but I think Kyle calls her Liz.
Okay, so Liz goes back downstairs with Kyle, and Kyle is eating candy.
Eating Mikey's candy.
Right, and so they end up eating all of Mikey's candy.
And they, like, fall asleep on the couch, wake up, they're like, I think they fell asleep.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Because the parents are on the way home.
Yeah. So obviously he's not supposed to be here.
So she goes to get Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, to settle their stomachs. And then,
and I think it's so funny she's running down the hallway. Don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, then Sweet Tooth comes in and reaches down Kyle's throats and, like, pulls his organs out up through his mouth.
Yeah.
And,
because they didn't leave any candy for him.
Yes. And Liz only hears part of this happening, and to her it just sounds like he's, like, throwing up or, like, choking.
Yeah. And so...
I think right when she gets back in the room, she says, don't choke and die, or something.
Yeah. And, so then Sweet Tooth kills her, and he goes upstairs after Mikey, but you just see his hand reach in and grab the candy bar.
Yeah, the door opens, he grabs the candy bar, and you just see his hand, because the hallway's dark, and then he leaves.
And then his parents come home, and they're pretty drunk, because they were obviously at a Halloween party, and, they find the bloody scene of Kyle and Liz dead, and just see Mikey standing there. He turns around, and the last thing he says is, they ate my candy.
They ate all my candy.
That's the end of that story. This is probably one of my favorite ones in the whole anthology. Yeah. I love this story.
I also really like the design of Sweet Tooth.
I do too.
Also, Timmy was the name of Sweet Tooth. That's why you said Timmy earlier.
Ah, gotcha.
So
what's the name of our next story?
It is The Night Billy Raised Hell.
Okay. So,
I have a big issue with this one.
Why?
Are you going to wait till the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe not the end, but...
I mean the end of this story.
No, but
oh,
when we talk about the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I didn't catch the other one's names, but Billy is with two other people.
And the girl is his sister.
That's what I was going to say. His sister, and I'm guessing the other one is probably the sister's boyfriend or something like that. And he talks about how, oh, you're, like, to Billy, says, like, oh, you're too old to be trick-or-treating. It's time to, like, be a real man and do pranks. So he...
Specifically egging...
Yes, I was going to say.
A spooky house that's on their street, because supposedly everybody does it.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. It's an old man's house that never decorates the outside of his house for Halloween or anything like that. So, it's like a yearly tradition that they egg his house every year.
And he says if he doesn't do it, he's going to tell everybody that he pissed his pants.
Yep. So he goes to do it, and when he goes to do it, the old man, like, catches his hand, takes the egg, and throws it back into, like, the boyfriend. Like,
and I don't... That's one thing. Like, if you're going to egg a house, are you going to go up in the front porch and just, like, toss it at the door?
I wouldn't think so, but...
I mean, you'd stand in the road and...
I don't think he knew what he was doing.
Every time I egged a house, I would throw it from the road.
Also, wait till dark.
Yeah.
It's not even dark yet. It's in the middle of day. Like, just wait until dark.
Yeah.
Our 10 tips on how to egg a house.
Right.
Well, we used to TP Mama's house, so...
All the time. And Mama, too, loved it when we go down there and TP her house.
And then we come out and help pick it up.
Yeah. So, the guy that lives in this house pulls the little boy inside. And this is where my issue lies, okay? Rayleigh, you're a big sister.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking your brother out and you talk him into doing something stupid and he doesn't come out of the house, are you just gonna leave him there all night?
No, not only because I care about my siblings' safety, but also I'm not about to get my ass reamed by my parents.
Well, my question is, he threw the egg at the boyfriend. Do they run away there? Because
Yeah.
maybe she doesn't know he got grabbed.
They were already running away.
Yeah, so she probably doesn't know that he got grabbed.
No, they watch it happen because that's why they start running.
But
Okay.
still, if your little brother, which you two are pretty close in age, but if your little brother disappears and you can't find him on Halloween because obviously there's a time difference between when he gets kidnapped and when
Yeah.
mayhem ensues.
Which obviously his name is Billy.
Did we say that?
Well, it's the night that Billy raised hell.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
So, but there's all that time gap. So don't you think she wondered where he went? Like, I would be mad if you just left your brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you left your little sister.
I would do that.
I feel like one of the important jokes that the sister's boyfriend talks about how hot Billy's mom looks
Yeah.
and the costume she wears to pick him up.
What I thought was really interesting is, I thought that the old man changed appearance when they go inside. He doesn't. He just takes off the hat.
Yeah, he just takes his hat off.
Yeah, I thought that he, transformed a little bit, but no, he looks exactly... Because then... Okay, so once they go inside, he takes off his hat, and he has, little horns.
Yeah.
And
He's Satan. He's the devil.
Did they say that directly, though?
No, but that's what I
He could just be a demon.
What do you think?
I think it's supposed to be Satan, but it's also just kind of up for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's never explicitly said, but
I
what I got from it was that it was Satan.
And one of the big reasons I think that is because he compliments the costume and the way he does it.
Well, and something we learn later.
What does he say his name is? What is his name?
I don't know.
I feel like it's a play on.
It might be.
Let me look.
So, while Rayleigh's looking that up, he tells Billy that he's going to show him what a real Halloween prank is.
Yes.
And so then it's dark, and we see
Yeah, guys, I don't know what it is.
our
Sorry.
mystery man. We're just going to call him, Satan?
Yeah.
Sure.
Satan and Billy, and they're just...
And we should have mentioned this earlier. Billy was dressed as a demon. That was his outfit. Or Satan or something like that.
Yeah. And so they're just wreaking havoc through this town.
Yeah, the first thing he does is they go to a dentist's house, they get a toothbrush, the old man carves it, and then Billy shanks the old man.
Yeah.
Also, Satan lets Billy drive the car.
Yeah, Billy gets a gun at one point and shoots a couple people and robs them.
He's encouraging people to run, or he's encouraging Billy to run people over when they're in the car.
Yeah, he encourages him to rob a
Convenience
gas
store.
station,
Yeah.
a convenience store.
It might be a gas station.
He also... Shoot, there was something else.
He
He graffitis
his sister.
Well, he does the burning turd where the guy stomps
Yeah.
down and the bear trap snaps on his leg.
Yeah.
He puts gas in the sister's front on his front lawn, the house his sister's in, and lights it on fire.
But then he hit her because the boyfriend's laughing and she's like, "That's not funny."
Maybe, I don't know.
And then he vandalizes stuff. So
Yeah, he puts graffiti and it says Billy Thompson, I think is his last name.
Yeah, whatever his last name
Yeah.
is.
Owns the night.
So after they get back to the old man's house, we learn that wasn't Billy. It was actually Mordecai, who looks like a demon of some kind.
Yeah.
I got impish vibes, probably just because he was small.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a complaint here because when he's in the front yard at his sister's house and we see him with the mask on, that is Billy underneath the mask.
How do you know?
You can tell. You can tell by the eyes. You can see the bottom of his chin and stuff.
Maybe Mordecai can change his form.
We don't see any evidence of that though, because if he can change his form, why didn't he?
That's true.
Well, it also makes less sense for them to have a kid do all that stuff, acting wise.
What?
Wouldn't they just make the guy who's the demon?
But I'm saying you can tell it's Billy. He has the same eyes and everything.
So what I'm saying is he probably can transform into Billy because it would make more sense for them to use an adult actor to do all these crazy things instead of a kid.
But I'm saying, why... He looks like Billy. We have no evidence that he can shapeshift at all. There's no evidence of that in the movie.
But what I'm saying...
I'm just saying it's a plot hole.
But here, what I'm saying is maybe the evidence is, why would they use a kid for that when they can use an adult?
You mean, actually filming the movie?
Yeah. like, behind the scenes stuff.
I
So
don't know,
here's
but
a thought I have about Mordecai. Is he the one in the later story?
no, they look different.
Okay.
They might be played by the same person, but they look completely different.
Okay. So anyway, they go back in the house. Mordecai takes his mask off,
Mm-hmm.
and we realize it's not Billy.
Yeah,
And
he's a
Billy
demon.
was tied up the whole time.
Yeah, and
he's like, I thought you were going to show me what a real prank was.
And at one point in all of this, the Satan had asked about his mom.
Yeah, if his mom was wearing a costume this year.
And so
And
then
he
when
flicked his tongue, and that tongue flip is literally in my
you know
nightmares.
who he reminds me of, though?
Who?
In some of those scenes, he reminds me of the Grinch played by Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I was thinking he reminded me of Mike Myers.
He
I
just
just-
reminds me of an old man who should not be flicking his tongue at a woman.
He reminded me of the Cat in the Hat, like Mike Myers.
I got Grinch.
He's
Jim
also,
Carrey Grinch.
that actor realized the other day that he's in a very small part in Glee. Because he's like one of the, for all my Gleeks out there, he's one of the, people who comes in and tells Sue that they will have a good story for, and there's a good possibility of her winning a local Emmy if she does the story about the Glee Club doing Rocky Horror Picture Show as their play that year.
Okay, so on to our next story.
No, we're not done.
Oh.
So he tells
Oh, yeah, you're
Billy
right. I forgot we
that
didn't say this yet.
he did play the greatest prank on him,
There's people waiting for him at home.
and that his mom would have lots of extra time on his hands, and he would make sure that those
Yeah.
times were filled. And so
And he flicks his tongue again.
Billy walks
Eh.
out the door, and he has no idea what's going on, and there's all these cops out there, and they end up shooting him.
Well,
They tell him to like surrender, and he puts his hands behind his head.
and he pees his pants.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's wrong with you? And then it
Yeah,
cuts
they're
to-
like making fun of this little boy who
Yeah.
has guns surrounding him.
And then it cuts to black, and then we hear gunshots.
Yeah.
So we don't see him get shot, but it can be assumed he was shot.
That's actually a pretty sad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad. That
Yeah.
ending just kind of breaks my heart.
Okay, so our next story, do you have the name of it pulled up?
Yep.
But again, I don't like that the sister just left him.
This one is called Trick.
Yeah, but it's a teenager with a younger brother.
But still.
Okay.
And Trick begins with a group of young adults just chilling.
Yeah, it's two couples
Yeah, and they're just chilling, watching a scary movie.
drinking, smoking weed.
Yeah.
And again, they're watching Night of the Living Dead.
Which,
That's what I was
guys, this
gonna
is
say.
just a disclaimer to not smoke weed, or else this might happen to you.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
funny
it's more
coming
the
from
fact
you.
that then they find out at the end, not that they were smoking weed.
No, last time I was watching it, I told my roommates, I was like, this is just a big PSA to not smoke weed, guys.
Never drink or do drugs in a horror movie unless you want to die. Okay.
Don't be in a horror
So
movie
they're-
unless you want to die, honestly.
They're all just, they're sitting around watching this movie, and they're taking turns answering the door for trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. And they mentioned that there's a bunch of kids wearing pirate costumes this year. And in two other stories, we see kids wearing pirate costumes.
And one is in Sweet Tooth, right?
Yes. One is him from Sweet Tooth. The other one is a later story.
One of my favorite things about this movie is, for sure, the continuation and all the little details.
Yeah.
The more you watch it,
The
the you get
continuity.
to notice. Yeah.
So, one of the guys gets up and goes answers the door, and
It's a girl in a witch costume.
yeah,
And she stabs him right in the gut.
he says trick or treat, and they're kind of
Yeah.
making fun of him, like, you must be drunk. She's supposed to say that.
Hmm.
And then she stabs him and says trick, and then runs off.
So Nelson dies.
He stumbles back,
Yeah.
falls to the ground.
Wait, he doesn't die here, does he? Or does he?
No.
He stumbles back, falls to the ground, and then
Okay.
they're freaking out, and they're like, okay. One of the girls is like, I'll go get the car. I'll pull
Maria.
around. Maria says she's gonna go get the car and pull it around to take him to the hospital.
And
Which, at this point,
what?
I'm thinking, why not call an ambulance / the cops?
Yeah.
I thought somebody did say they were going to call 911.
No, they just say they're gonna get the car, but we get a scene
And
later.
get him
where-
to the hospital.
Okay. I thought one of them said I'm going to call 911.
No.
So Maria runs out.
Before we talk about what happens here, though, I want to talk about how cool this shot is. We're inside, and it's like one continuous take, or at least it looks like it is. It doesn't seem like there's a cut. It goes from inside the house to following her through the backyard past the pool to she goes through like a gate and a fence, and we go over the fence to the car. Yeah. It's such a cool, just like long shot.
And classic horror movie, what happens when you walk by a car? You get your ankle slit.
And that's exactly what happens.
And at first, I thought it was going to be her Achilles tendon, but it can't be because she ends up walking.
Yeah. But then 3 or 4 other kids surround her, and they're just kind of beating her. 2
of them have knives. One of them has a sledgehammer.
And this whole time, I'm thinking like, oh, these kids are twisted.
Yeah. So then we cut back to them inside, and they see Maria stumbling, and she falls into the pool.
So they're freaking out.
Mm-hmm. The other dude starts to walk into another room and gets his face flambéed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girl that flambéed his face, I think she's dressed...
She's the devil.
Mm-hmm. She puts rat poison in his mouth and then puts duct tape over his mouth so he has to swallow it.
Yeah. The other girl, she's freaking out. She runs out to a back shed.
Is it a back shed? I thought it was a basement.
She goes outside.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was a shed.
She runs by the pool.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And she's sitting in there, and she's on her phone. Mm-hmm. And she's on her phone, and again, I'm asking, why are we not calling 911?
She does dial 911
here. She ends up stopping.
Yeah, she doesn't call, but she dials it.
And then she starts deleting pictures off of her phone.
And the first picture is her with a bloody face.
And then there's a couple other pictures of them, like, removing an eye from a child. Her, like, holding the eye. And the pictures are with Maria and the other 2 guys that were there. And them, like, pretending to eat the eye. I think she actually even had it in her mouth at one point.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then it shows, like, the kid that they had pulled the eye off of.
And it's a boy.
Yes.
So she goes through and deletes all those pictures off her phone, and then when she's done, it says, like, no pictures or videos left. So that was all that was on her phone, which makes me wonder if it was, like, a burner phone kind of thing.
I don't know.
Like, it was exclusively for this.
Remember, kids, if you're committing a crime, don't take pictures of it.
So there's, like, it's like a sterile room. Like, everything's bright white. There's bright lights.
Yeah, but we don't realize that until she's just in there. And she's in the corner, and it's dark, and we don't understand exactly, like, where she is. And then lights come on because the other kids are coming in. And that's whenever it shows, like, the tools, the jar that has the eye in it, the kid on the table.
Yes. And we don't, at first, we just see the girl from one side, and it reminds me of, like, how they frame Two-Face a lot in the Batman stuff, where they'll just show, like, the good half.
Yeah, it was a girl that was on the table. We said a boy earlier, but it was...
There was a boy in the pictures. There's a girl on the table.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it just shows her from that one side. Well, then we see the other side when the people go over to her, and her eye has been pulled out.
Yeah. And so the girl's cowering in the corner, apologizing, whimpering, all that stuff. And the other kids come in, specifically, I know the witch was there.
I think they're all there.
Yeah, it's all 4 of them.
And they undo the girl from the thing, hand her an axe.
Yes.
And then it cuts out, but, it's assumed that she took the axe and killed the person who took her eye.
And you know what I thought was such an odd scene in this one, though? When the little boy goes in and he washes his hands, it's just, like, totally random.
I think, though, it's, like, such a little kid thing to do. Like, your hands are dirty, you wash them.
I guess, but...
Like, that's how I took it.
It's just...
Because they're still kids. I think it's supposed to illustrate the point. These are still kids. Like, they went through all of this. But I almost wonder if it's showing us a little bit of humanity before fully, like, unveiling the secret. Like, showing us, hey, these are kids. Like, they're not...
See, the way I took it was more that they're showing that they planned this. And they knew to wash their hands, make sure that the blood was off of it, like, all that kind of stuff. Like, it definitely was, like, to me, I took it as they were, like, this was a super, what's the word? A super,
planned out?
Yeah, no, it's it's like whenever they use, like, the difference between murder and involuntary, premeditated.
Yeah.
Yes.
I almost said predetermined, and I knew that wasn't right. My thing is, we see they remove the eye from the little girl, and what they did in the pictures was remove that boy's eye. So we see all those other instruments, but I wonder if they just have a thing for eyes.
I don't know, because the boy was bloodier, so I don't know if they did more things to him.
I know,
or...
but I wonder if they just have a particular thing, or maybe even just her in particular has a thing for eyes.
I don't know, but it was kind of a creepy story.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites in here, though.
And I do want to say that Rayleigh was talking about, like, the continuity.
This is also one of my favorites, just wanted to say. But
the continuity between stories.
Mm-hmm.
We actually see these kids in other, like, trick-or-treating in a later story.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought the witch reminded me a lot of Rhonda in Trick or Treat. I don't really know why.
I don't know, maybe because she didn't say anything.
That might be
and
it.
it's Rhonda did not say much in that movie.
Yeah.
I think the only kid that talks in this segment is the one that was tied up.
Well, Rhonda does say Trig.
She does, yeah.
But that's it. So, what's our next one, Bug? Rayleigh?
Grim Grinning Ghost.
Okay, so this one honestly felt really weird to me. Like, we can talk about it more, but it just feels really weird to me.
Honestly, it's kind of lackluster compared to the other ones.
Is this the storytelling one?
Yeah.
At the Halloween party?
Yeah, and then she walks home. Yeah, okay.
No. This is the one with, like, the bikers, but they're literally on bikes.
No.
Yes? Mary Bailey is the next one.
Oh, okay.
Grim.
So,
it says number 5 is Grim Grinning Ghost. And that is this.
We are on 4.
Oh.
We did Sweet Tooth, we did Billy.
Okay, this is The Weak and the Wicked.
Okay. So,
I agree. I also thought this one was really weird.
I'm going to disagree with you both because I thought this one was pretty cool.
I think it's
for
cool.
A revenge story.
Yeah. Well, we
I
can
will
get
say
to
the
it, but I'll
biggest
explain
thing-
why I think it's weird.
I think the biggest thing for me is the acting is a little cheesy in this
I don't
one.
like the girl.
Yeah.
I don't think she did a good
It's
job.
it's just a little cheesy.
She tries too hard to be tough.
I think it's funny because I didn't really recognize many of the actors or actresses in this, but there's 2 stories that had people I recognized, and this is one of them.
Yeah, and one of them, and that was the guy that plays
Jacob.
Jay.
What?
That plays Jay in Descendants.
What were you talking
Yeah, what were you talking about?
That's what I was thinking
Oh,
of.
okay.
I thought his name was Jacob for some
Oh
reason.
no, it's Jay. The son of Jafar.
Um.
So, he's far from his Disney days.
Well, when did this come out? Because
After Trick or Treat.
there's been a lot of
2015?
Descendant sequels, so he may still have been in some of them.
So,
Anyway,
it came out in
doesn't matter.
2015.
I know. I'm
so
just saying. I don't know when the last Descendants came out, and if they're even in them.
This story centers around, like Dawson said, a biker gang, but that's bikes, not
They're on
like
little
actual-
bicycles. Yeah.
bicycles. And it's a girl and 2 guys, and it starts out with them picking on this boy.
I can't get a feel for how old they're supposed to be.
It's so funny though because like the acting in this one is like Disney Channel acting.
Yeah.
How they like yeah.
And maybe it's a stylistic choice.
But it's basically like they're on the south side, which is the rough side
Yeah.
of town.
She
That's
even
like
says something about it being the wrong story for the wrong side of the tracks.
yeah. But it starts out with them like torturing some random dude who has glasses
They're
on. He's
like-
dressed like a cowboy.
Mhm.
I just
They-
thought he was kind of cute when I was younger.
They tell him he's too old for trick or treating, and the girl goes to like burn his foot with a cigar, like the bottom of his foot.
And then there's a guy at the end of the thing, and he says, "Hey!"
Yeah, and he's dressed in like, it reminds me of when superhero movies when people homemake their costumes. It almost
Yeah.
feels like that.
And he has like 2 horns that come out,
Yes.
kind of like bull horns.
And then underneath it, he's got like a ski mask on and stuff.
Yeah,
But the horns are on like a helmet that's separate because it gets knocked off.
yeah. And so they start chasing him, and he's also on a bike.
Well, before they start chasing him, she goes up and talks to him and hands him that picture of, like, it looks like a picture.
He hands her the picture.
What
yeah.
I said. Of a it kind of looks like a demon.
Yes.
And we later see there's stuff on the back, but we don't see the stuff on the back here.
Yeah.
So yeah, they follow him on bicycles. He like parkours his way away, and they follow him on bicycles. And it's so funny to me that they're just on bicycles.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like I said, like this movie is very not. It's like rated R because there are like some more sexual scenes in it. Nothing like insane. There's no like
Yeah.
nudity.
Nothing
or,
explicit.
Exactly. But, like, also there's a lot of cussing and stuff like that, and just, like, this story making it, like I said, genuinely like a Disney Channel original.
Yeah, this story could be in Fear Street.
Yeah.
Like
the people walk up to you and they're...
Yeah.
So...
He ends up in a dead end, he climbs up a wall.
Yeah.
And he keeps checking a pocket watch that he has.
Yeah. And he ends up at the end of this alley, and he's trapped.
And there's a
Camper
there. Yeah, trailer. And it's like abandoned. It's like there was a fire there, so it's all like empty, and the windows are busted out, like all that kind of stuff.
So we get a flashback
of the main girl who's like the leader, and then like her two little henchmen, yeah, of when they were younger, setting his, and it shows him as a little boy, like the guy that they're chasing, and setting his house on fire, presumably with his parents inside.
His parents were inside.
Yeah.
We see it explicitly because I think it's the dad has the pocket watch because it says for dad.
Yeah.
But it might be the mom that has it in her hand because I thought the hand looked feminine, but maybe they show a feminine hand and then the dad's hand with it.
And that's the pocket watch that he keeps checking.
The fire effects here are awful. Did you guys notice that?
It's a little rough. It's definitely like a low budget. Like it seems a little more low budget.
But a lot of the other stories, like the story we just talked about, where like the eye and stuff is gone, all those effects are so good, but the fire effects are just bad.
Yeah, but also you got to remember this is 2015, so CGI and stuff like that was a little.
Every story is directed by somebody different.
Yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like they do with VHS, where each segment is done by a separate person.
So one thing I caught was that he is dressed as an innocent pink bunny when they're kids, and then the bad guys are dressed as skeletons.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like Dia de Morte.
So they pull him down on the ground. Like we go back out of the flashback, they put him down on the ground and start kicking him, and then the girl pulls out a baseball bat. And well, actually, before they get him down on the ground, he keeps saying cryptic stuff. He said something earlier there in the alley, and then this time he says something about bringing the guilty back to the place they committed the crime.
She didn't pull out a baseball bat. She throws alcohol on him.
She pulls out a baseball bat.
She does. She has a little tiny baseball bat.
And she smacks him.
Don't they pull off his mask?
Yeah, and they recognize him as the boy from the childhood.
Yeah, and also he has stuff carved into his forehead.
Yeah, there's like blood running down.
Yeah.
You could kind of see the blood running below the mask before they took it off, too.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. He does have carvings in his forehead. Is this... No, okay. Yeah, so then she starts to pour the alcohol on him. We get a flashback and see the back of that paper he gave her earlier. And it shows, like, basically a ritual to summon the, Demon of All Hallows Eve.
And she actually says something about All Hallows Eve right before she's getting ready to throw the lighter on him.
And it's called, like, the demon is to come and punish the wicked. I'm pretty sure is like the thing.
So then while this is happening, while she's pouring the alcohol, we see the two guys go flying in the background. She whips around and the demon is there. And the design of the demon, I don't know if either of you guys have seen any of the stuff from Crypt TV. They got an actual show, but they used to just, as far as I know, it was on YouTube. They did videos because I used to watch them on YouTube. And it reminded me of that. Like, it feels like something that would be in that.
I thought it reminded me of something out of Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. Same kind of idea.
Because he doesn't have eyes. Mm-hmm. He's got that mouth that's
mouth,
just... Yeah. I mean, he's creepy looking.
He is. It's pretty cool. And then he, like, yells. Lets out a big bellow.
Mm-hmm. I meant to mention the last story, or not the last story, but the story with, the first story, the one with, Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth, the way his mouth was reminded me of the clown from...
American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm. It was, like, very, like, exposed and open. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that story. So we see the demon basically just kill the bikers, and that's the end of that story.
But again, it was very...
It's very Disney Channel.
Yeah, I guess there's really
except the demon. The demon was sick.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's very, like... I don't know. Like,
I think the
high school age.
Yeah. It feels like a film you would go and make with your friends.
Yeah.
It's just... It was so weird, though, because, like... If they're, like, a biker gang, why are they on actual bicycles? What are their ages supposed to be? Why did they burn up his family when he was a kid? Like, we don't...
And why, of all things, were they going to burn that boy's foot? Like, that's the most
Yeah.
random thing they could have done.
And why did they just start bullying him? Because he was eating candy in an alley? Like,
they
It
called
was
him
actually
by his...
Dan Schneider who directed this one.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. Well, they call him by name, so they know. I'm going to guess they picked on him a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, and
But-
like I said, he looked kind of nerdy.
Do you think they're supposed to be, like, teenagers?
Yeah, because why else would they be on?
I know,
bicycle.
but they look too old. It's that thing where, like, they look too old to be teenagers.
And I just did not like her acting. I don't know if it's just... I don't know if she's been in anything else, so I don't know, but...
She looks really familiar.
She,
I don't know.
just her trying to act... She tried too hard to act tough. Like, she overacted
Well,
that
also,
part.
The script itself, to give her a little bit of a break, was a little cheesy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how many of the people involved with this was, like, their first, like, their directorial debut.
I don't know.
Because I have heard that, like, shorts are a good place to get started because it gives you a little bit of a, whatchamacallit, a resume. Do we have anything else we want to say on the story before we get into the next one?
So it's definitely, it has a good message, and
Yeah.
it's definitely, I wouldn't skip any story on this, but I'm just such a diehard fan of Tales of Halloween.
I wouldn't skip this story either, just simply for the design of the creature, because it just looks so cool.
And I mean, you get some pretty good shots while they're going through, like, doing
Yeah.
a chase.
Yeah. I do think it's funny, though, because I don't know if you guys got this vibe, but all of the music in it, except during the chase scene when it's, like, heavy metal, feels very Western. Did you guys get that?
Well, also, the way that they're dressed is, kind of like, bandits, like Old West bandit-ish.
Yeah. I don't know. It just... This movie just... Maybe it's just too stylized in a way that I'm not a huge fan of.
What was the name of this segment?
I have no idea. Riley?
The Weak and the Wicked. So, funnily enough, after being like, the main girl of this looks pretty familiar, we looked her up. Her name is Gracie Gillum? Gillum. Gracie Gillum. She played in Teen Beach Movie. She played Leela, who's supposed to fall in love. She's like the biker girl that's supposed to fall in love with the surfer boy, but then ends up falling in love with the guy that Ross Lynch is playing.
And she's also in Z Nation.
Yes.
So, it's kind of funny that, like, it's, I was talking about, like, Disney Channel acting and all that kind of stuff, and two of the characters from this segment are from Disney Channel. But, she also sings, Falling for Ya, Falling for Ya. Sorry, guys, I loved Teen Beach Movie when I was younger, so I just...
You don't have to apologize. Okay, so our next story is the Grinning Ghost or whatever.
The Grim Grinning Ghost.
Okay.
And so...
The woman in this, I want to say this, the woman in this that tells the story at the beginning is the lady from Insidious.
You always take all of my little tidbits.
Well, you gotta talk faster.
I tried and you interrupted me.
I think this one is one of the more boring ones. It's definitely, the aesthetic is top tier because I just love Halloween, and having like a cute little Halloween party, walking home after it is like super duper cute, but it's very lackluster.
It reminds me of the cold open to a Supernatural episode.
Yeah.
So basically, they're having a Halloween party at the lady's house.
It's her
and
mom's house.
She's telling a story to the people at the party, and it's
About Mary Bailey.
the story of Mary Bailey, who was picked on as a child,
I don't remember. She'll take your eyes if you walk home alone.
and if you look at her, if you turn around and
Yeah.
look at her. And so then the lady telling the story who's having the party, her daughter
Is jumpy, scared cat.
and she's driving home and her car dies.
Yeah. She uses her phone as a flashlight to look at the engine, and she's like,
I do want to mention one of my favorite things about this segment is her driving her car, and you hear the lady who's on the radio, who's like in between all the stories and who's kind of like bringing it all together, and she's like, here's this song, and it's like Don't Look Behind You or something like that.
But she's using her phone as a flashlight to look at the engine, and she's like, well, that's not good. So she lays her phone down, and we watched her prop up the hood with like those things that come with it, and she's standing there smoking a cigarette, and then the hood slams down on her phone and breaks it.
And I think that's so cool that they did that that would have been a plot hole. She had her phone, but then her phone's destroyed, so she can't use it.
Also, it's really funny, like, the song being like, "Don't look behind you," it kills me. It very much reminds me of that BoJack scene where Princess Caroline is driving from, oh shoot, I don't remember the name of it, but it's the restaurant that BoJack ends up owning, and she's like, "Here, just some music." And then the music she turns on, it's like, "Don't turn around, Princess Carol."
Um, no, you're right though, because a lot of people's modern complaints with horror movies is either A, they write a very bad way that they can't use their phones for whatever reason, or B, they just don't bring it up at all, and it's like, well, if they have cell phones, why aren't they using them?
Right.
So that is a really good way to have a phone get broken.
Yeah. And so then she starts walking home. And she's dressed kind of like, I don't know, kind of like,
My thoughts was like, she's kind of supposed to be like Mary Shelley.
I can see
I
that.
was going to say like colonial,
Yeah.
not colonial, but like European.
And it's like a little darker, like a little more goth. Again, like I just like assumed that, because she seemed like she was like a bookworm, so I was assuming that she was like Mary Shelley.
So she's walking home. She gets scared a couple times. There's like a couple outside that giggle, and it scares her because part of the story is that Mary
laughs.
giggles.
Yeah.
And then she almost runs into a Halloween decoration that like screams in her face, and that scares her too.
She's going home, and it's just that feeling of like, oh, somebody's behind me.
But she won't turn around because you're not supposed
Yeah.
to.
And I do think one of the cooler shots from this movie is in this segment, because it's where we just see like a shadow behind her, and it's all
kinda
foggy. Yeah.
Um,
Which I'm big into cinematography, so
Yeah.
I like.
well, that's why I wanted to bring up that long shot earlier where it goes from inside the house to the car,
Right,
because
yeah.
stuff like that is just so cool to me.
And that's one thing I think in Trick or Treat, when you've got Wilkins and Craig and how they have that whole interaction, but then like you see it from both sides of the fence, and I love it when they do things like that.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, this is off subject, and you'll probably want to cut this out, but one of the best shows I've ever seen is called Kevin Can F Himself, and it takes that like it's kind of based off of like Kevin Can Wait,
I don't know what that is.
King of the Hill.
Oh, okay.
It's based off of stuff like that, and it's like so whenever she's around her husband, it's like filmed like a sitcom, and then whenever she's not around her husband, it's like a drama. And it's just basically like she's with a really narcissistic, abusive guy. Oh, such a good show, Mom. You should watch it. You would love it. I'm like so serious. You would love it.
Okay, so that was solely off the subject.
I know. I'm sorry. I was just thinking
we
about,
do
like,
that.
the cinematography.
No, we do that all the time.
That's
So-
part of our charm.
Mm-hmm.
She gets home, she gets inside.
Well, she hears footsteps behind her while she's walking too. When we see
And
the
a
shadow
little bit of
in the
giggling.
fogs. Yeah.
See the shadow in the fog.
And when she gets home, there's a jack-o'-lantern on her porch, but I think it goes out when she walks up there. Did you notice that? When she walks by it goes out.
And like the music's rushing.
She
It's
drops her
starting to
key.
get more tense. Yeah, like she feels like. And as somebody who's paranoid, and literally I will check my back seat before I drive home from work and still be terrified my entire drive that there's somebody behind me.
Yeah.
So I totally get that feeling of feeling like there's somebody behind you, and it's like genuinely like such a primal instinctive feeling of feeling like there's somebody chasing you. It just really gets your heart going.
Yeah. It's like taking the trash out at night.
At night. Taking the trash out at night.
But yeah, so she drops her key, she gets him back up, and I think it's after she unlocks the door, she does turn around.
And there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So she's like, haha, I'm stupid.
Yeah. And she goes inside. And she's in the bathroom brushing her teeth, and
She's got a cute little doggy.
we get one of those things where like
Is it a dog or a cat?
A dog.
the dog.
A dog, okay.
And she like opens the bathroom cabinet. It's one of those things where like she's gonna close it and we're gonna see something. She closes it, we don't see anything. But then when she looks up and she's looking in the mirror, the bathroom door drifts open, and you're like, oh crap! And then it's her dog. Her dog pushed the door open because it was cracked.
See, this one, I will say, something that drives me nuts about scary movies is anticipation. And sometimes that gets me more than the actual scares, and this one is all about, like, anticipation.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the theme of this one.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
But So she goes back and she's on her couch and her dog is sitting next to her and her dog just starts to whine before running away. And she's like, oh, is something got you scared? And then she turns around and Mary Bailey is sitting there on the couch.
And that's how that ends.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the TV's on and she's watching Night of the Living Dead.
And again, pretty lackluster. The vibes, the aesthetic, beautiful. Exactly how I want my Halloween to go other than being killed by Mary Bailey.
There just wasn't much to this one. There wasn't a whole lot of substance to it.
Yeah, and like I said, it mostly relied on anticipation more than anything.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Supernatural where Dean is like scared of everything.
Oh god.
That's what
sickness.
That's what this feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where she's jumping at everything.
Whenever they open the thing and the cat jumps out and he screams, kills me. Okay, the next segment, are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Is Ding Dong.
Okay. So we start at Jack and Bobby's house at the last Halloween, the Halloween the year before. And Bobby's in a chair crying and Jack comes up and she's like, why can't we have kids? Like, why can't I have kids? And Jack kind of tries to calm her down and stuff and has dressed the dog up. Well, Bobby gets mad at Jack and like punches him in the face, but she like...
She slaps him, but like an arm comes out from under her, like, the dress she's wearing.
Her face like turns red.
Yeah. And the arm is red, and it's like, it's long fingers with, like, black nails on it that's, like, long and talony.
It kind of reminds me of the Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Like, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Or, if you guys have seen, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's kind of like, Zaphod's arm. Where he'll just, like, randomly have it come out and hit people.
Well, isn't it in Insidious The Last Key, or The Final Key, or whatever one that is? Doesn't an arm come out of someone's mouth at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, it gives me that kind of vibe.
But, like, her face turns red, she's got, like, black around her eyes, she has, like, a hood on whenever, and it's, like, her alter ego thing.
And her arm, whenever she is the witch, it has super long nails, and her skin is red, and there's, like, white wrapping around it.
She has 2 arms on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And anyway, so she...
and it shows them specifically, like, there's kids, like, knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell, and she's like, why can't I have one? And she's just having to sit there and agonize over the fact that there's kids out there knocking on her door, but she cannot have one.
So she hits Jack. Jack falls down, and we see his, like, face bloody, and then we cut to to this Halloween.
Yeah. And Jack's very, very poor Jack in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, he looks so scared. Like, he's on edge. He's walking on eggshells.
Yeah. And he's like, are you sure you can do this?
Yeah. And she's dressed up as a witch, and he's dressed up as Hansel.
Yes.
Hansel?
And...
Hansel? Oh, come on.
I know what you're talking about. Hansel? Hansel? Hansel?
Yeah, so he's dressed up as Hansel. She's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
People start knocking on the doors. And actually, this is one of the ones where you kind of see any kid that was trick-or-treating in any other episode. You see Billy with Satan. You see the kids from the one where, like, the witch and the pirate and the devil, where they killed all those adults. You even see one of the trick-or-treaters that's in one of the later things, the ransom note one. We'll get to that.
Yeah, he has a tiger mask on. We see Mikey from Sweet Tooth even.
Yep.
I think that was all of them.
But yeah, it's and she her routine is that she coughs up a piece. Ugh, it's so gross. I always thought this was disgusting whenever I watched it, but it's just like it's like a piece of scalp.
It's an ear.
And it's a pigtail.
Oh yeah.
Because she said I ate her ears last so she could hear me eating her.
Yeah.
And she talks about how she already ate Gretel, and that's why they're Hansel and the witch.
She like regurgitates it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, repeatedly.
Like she talks and then she coughs it up.
My favorite gag to do is the way that she, like, every time somebody knocks on the door, it shows her grabbing the candy bowl, swallowing the piece of hair, and then making sure her boobs are sitting
right
the right spot.
But here she goes and she after we get, like, the montage, she goes and she says, I'm gonna make cookies, and she sets the oven to 666 degrees.
And there's flames in the oven. Now, if my oven started having flames in it, I'd have issues. And I don't think you can even set an oven that high.
And Jack goes in there and is talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. We skipped
What did we
No,
skip?
that's all right. No, that's right. And they're talking, and he.
And the doorbell rings because
Yes.
the little girl comes to the door dressed as Gretel.
No, it's a little boy dressed as Hansel.
No. It's a little girl dressed as Gretel with her mom.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And they leave, and then the next one is a little boy dressed as Hansel
With
by
no
himself.
push.
Yeah. And she stares very, very intently at the little girl.
Yeah.
Like, an uncomfortable amount.
And don't we have a kind of a flashback in there of her being the red demon person?
I don't think that is until, the boy's there.
Okay.
Because we may, I don't know for sure, but we may.
The boy shows up, and she's trying to get him to come inside, and that's when you see the red arm.
And
Jack, because it hits Jack, I think, and she turns around and her face turns red, but he can't see it. The kid can't see it. Just Jack sees it. But Jack's like, we're not letting him in, and like the whole time she was doing the bit where she's like, oh, I ate his sister. He looks so uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he flips on their porch light and yells, hey, because there's a woman walking down the sidewalk. He yells, hey, is this your kid? So she comes over.
Is this one yours?
Yeah. So she comes over, and it is her son. And so she kind of is like, hey, I told you not to run off on me.
She gets a kind of weird vibe because of, like, how much the girl is staring.
Yeah. So they go back in, and the witch lady returns to the kitchen, and the oven door glass cracks. We see it crack because it's so hot. And she starts crying, and she's like, well, why can't we just have that? And Jack reveals that
she even says, maybe I'm pregnant right now, and we just don't know it yet.
And Jack reveals that that's not possible because he got a vasectomy without her knowledge.
So.
Because he didn't want to put a child through what he's been through.
He basically is like, with the way you treat me, I could not let you treat a child like that.
And so she freaks out, turns into the red witch lady completely, shoves him in the oven. And
Which is the dorkiest scene ever.
Yeah. And this is when it kind of goes back and forth from her crying to the red alter ego with the red arms and all that.
And we see him in the oven. And we see him in the oven, and there's like a teddy bear up in the corner in the oven, and the oven is like way bigger than it should be on the inside and stuff.
Yeah.
And the graphic
I'm pretty
is
sure
just
it's supposed
not
to be
good.
hell.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
No.
And then Bobby is...
Fire was not their strong suit in this movie.
And then while Bobby's crying, she's like, I'm melting.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
This whole one was weird for me.
Yeah. But,
I guess it's kind of maybe grief horror.
Yeah.
Is what they were kind of going for.
I don't know about that.
Able to have
I thought
kids.
maybe it was just us showing an abusive relationship. Because a lot of times when people depict abusive relationships, a lot of the time it's the man is the abuser and the woman is the one trapped. So I thought maybe this was like a more reverse situation. So maybe she wasn't even actually a witch. That was just how he saw her because she abused him. And he just felt trapped.
I took it more as grief because she wanted a kid so bad. But what do you think, Riley?
I just took it more literal that she's a witch who wants a kid.
That's what we've talked about this so much on our podcast, though. Horror is subjective.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Different interpretations.
3 different interpretations on one probably 10-minute story.
Okay, the next one I'm really excited for because this one is one of the stupidest, most fun ones I've ever seen.
I think this one's my favorite.
This means Worth.
It's the two neighbors.
The neighbors, yeah. I just think it's so funny, and it's like actually something that could happen.
We'll get more into it, but I just want to say this before we start. It feels to me like a Halloween version of Deck the Halls.
I thought that too.
I don't remember Deck the Halls.
It's the one with Danny DeVito where he moves into town and he's the new guy. Yeah, and he wants his house to be seen from space.
Danny DeVito, if you're listening to this, I love your work as Frank, and It's Always Sunny.
So, IMDb says this one is to be viewed as a metaphorical battle between traditional horror films of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, most often centered around the supernatural, and modern horror of the 80s and beyond, typically slasher films.
I wrote classic versus gore down. Like, I didn't even see that online anywhere. I just personally wrote down classic versus gore.
So basically, it shows a guy, he's starting to set up for Halloween.
Yeah.
He's a middle-aged man with just like a regular family, has like a 9-to-5 job. He starts setting it up.
I don't know if he's literally a doctor, but the neighbor calls him doctor at one point.
Well, he's dressed like one.
Okay.
Because he calls him Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, but they also call him... I don't think he calls him Dr. Frankenstein. I thought he called him, like, Dr. Calamari.
Like, I know there's a lot of dentists in this one, but I feel like he's a dentist.
But yeah, his is, like, the more traditional. He even does his face paint like a zombie, and it's almost, like, black and white.
Yeah.
And then all his decorations are, like, gray and white.
And it's more like...
He has, like, a skeleton and gravestones and
ghosts.
spider webs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
He even tells the younger neighbor he's decorated the same way for 20 or 30 years.
And a lot of his stuff, I mean, other than, like, the skeleton that's, like, plastic, a lot of his stuff looks like it could be homemade. Like, the gravestones and stuff are painted wood and stuff like that.
The neighbor who moves in across the street from him is a younger guy who has, like...
He's got a bunch of zombie stuff. He puts a bunch of fake blood in his yard. He's very, like, heavy metal rocker type of vibe.
Yeah. Like, it's like a party over there.
Yeah.
He puts, like, a whole thing in front of his house to make it look like a haunted house, basically.
Yeah. He's got all kinds of lights going. He has loud music playing. Whereas with the neighbor guy, the first guy, the doctor, he just has some lights on his porch, and then he has the skeleton that, like, talks to people when they come up, which he wears, like, a Bluetooth microphone thing to talk through him. Yeah. But its eyes glow, and that's, like, the only lights at his house. Across the street, it's, like, all lit up.
Yeah. So, he goes over there, he starts beefing with the guy across the street because he's scaring kids away.
And
he's talking about how his decorations are stupid, that they're boring, that they're not scary. He's talking about how he's done it for years, how he's being too loud, blah, 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 all this thing. They're fighting.
And he even says, I know you're new in town, I've been doing this display for 30 years, which is when I was like, this is basically Deck the Halls. Because he says something very similar in Deck the Halls.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they start fighting, and they're, like, beating each other up.
Well, first, the doctor goes in and he starts ripping out chords of the music.
Yeah.
So the neighbor goes across the street with a knife and cuts the head off the skeleton. And then they actually start, like, physically
fighting, yeah. And so there's a huge group watching them.
And I think it's so funny when they fall into the coffin together, and the lid shuts, and then the crowd just, like, goes completely quiet.
The audience starts taking bets, and they're all cheering on different people, like, they're betting on who's gonna win, and then, like Mom just said, they tackle each other, they end up inside of a wooden coffin, and it's all on the doctor's property. And then they roll out the side of the wooden coffin and break it open, and like Mom said, the audience went silent when they were in the coffin, and then as soon as they break out, everyone starts cheering again. And I feel like the doctor kind of realizes he's losing, because he's kind of down, like, in the scraps of the coffin, and then the guy's standing up, and, like, everyone's cheering for him, and we see the cops pull up. Well, at this point, I think the doctor feels like he knows he was losing, so he just, like, runs at the guy and, like,
pushes him back and
tackles him, basically, yeah.
Did you notice the one guy in the very front of the crowd that when he saw the cops, he was like, oh shit, and he just took off running? He was so funny.
But he tackles him, and they end up impaled on a broken scenery that we saw them break earlier. Yeah. It's like a stand for the scenery that's sharp now because
literally a big thing of wood just goes through their chest.
It impales both of them.
Yeah.
And they kind of are just like, oh crap.
And that's how that one ends.
Well, we see the cops come up and one of the cops throws up, but yeah. I just wanted to mention
that. So that one's, like, weird. I've never really seen anything like that, but I really like it.
But I think that shot at the end almost combines the two of their stuff, because we see all the decorations that are in his yard, and then we see them impaled on the thing, and it's almost like their two styles are mixed together there.
Yeah.
And I think if the lighting... It's almost, like, I think that, like, the only colors you see, really, is the red from the blood that's on them, and everything else is kind of black and whitish because it's his decorations.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything more we want to say about this story in particular? Okay. The next one. I think this is your favorite, is it?
Yeah, it's the Friday the 31st.
I hated this story the first time.
Yeah.
I hated the story the second time. When I watched it again today, I was like, okay, this might be my favorite. I kind of love it.
It's my favorite, and I've stood by that.
So...
And whenever it showed up, I turned to my roommates, I'm like, see? It's my favorite. Are you surprised?
Before we get into this, I will say... This story starts, and it feels like we came in right at the end of a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we're at the final girl.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a woman in a Dorothy costume. A little slutty, sexy,
we keep mentioning
diva-licious Dorothy costume.
We keep mentioning the radio host. There's, like, an actual, like, old-timey, like, it's not that old, but, like, a CD-style radio on the ground.
Oh my gosh, you just made me feel really old. CD players are not that old, guys. Don't listen to him. He's young.
She was born in the 80s, so...
Don't listen to anything she says. She's a geriatric.
She's basically a boomer at this point.
Wow.
I usually just bully her for her age. It's funny to have someone with me.
See if I invite you back to my podcast.
Okay.
Well, I need you because you do the editing, but
Technically, it's my podcast. It's Duke Eclipse Presents.
whatever.
But basically, the Dorothy girl is running.
Yes, and we
She
see
gets
her,
away, actually.
we see her being chased by a masked man who very much is just Jason Voorhees.
Kind of a little bit of that. The ableism of where he has, like, a disfigured face.
I wouldn't necessarily call that ableism.
Kind of like,
Okay, you're missing the whole point of the story.
Okay.
So Dorothy gets away from this guy. She goes and hides in a cabin. And he
It's not a
actually-
cabin. It's like a shed.
Whatever. It's his place. She sees, and I think this part, it's not funny, but to me it's funny, and I don't know why, but I guess morbid sense of humor. But she gets in there, and she's looking around, and there's a pumpkin that has a spot carved out of it, and
Yeah.
her friend's face is in the pumpkin.
And she yells Casey.
Yeah, and I just think that is
Yeah.
so funny. We'll get to why I didn't like this one the first couple times, but so he breaks through the wall
Mm-hmm.
and comes after her.
And they kind of have a back and forth fight.
Yeah,
And she stabs him with something, and then she hits him in the head with a
pitchfork.
wrench.
She gets him with a pitchfork.
Yes. And then she hits him in the head with a wrench, and it knocks his mask off. I'm pretty sure that's at
Yeah.
this point. And then she runs out the door.
and he kind of looks like the guy from the Goonies.
Yeah.
He looks like Jason.
I haven't seen Friday the 13th.
He looks like Jason.
I
but
failed as a mother.
he
That's Eli's favorite movie, too.
he throws
Or
a
scary movie.
he throws a spear into the back of her, so she's dead.
That was an act.
No, it's a spear.
No, it is an axe.
It's a spear.
Okay.
It goes through her chest because it's there for the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
So, so she's laying there dead. He goes over to make sure she's dead.
Yeah.
And then all of it, and I don't like alien stuff. No,
I love aliens.
aliens are not my favorite. There are some I like, but so
Listen,
there's a,
I like aliens in the way where they don't when they don't take themselves seriously. Like that's my favorite type of sci-fi. Which again, not to throw in a double thing, but I did just read the book. That's why I'm saying it twice, and then I watched the movie. But it's kind of like the genre of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It doesn't like open and doesn't have readable pages, but you know I have a 1/12 scale version of that book.
No, I did not know.
I have a Nancy Pearl figure, which is like a real life librarian that made up the rule of 50, and so she got really popular, and she like started like a reading day where everyone reads in this one city. I don't remember what city it is, like Philly or something. But they made an action figure of her, and she has a book cart with her, and actually I think every single book that's on it is labeled as an actual book, and one of the books is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Top tier book if you haven't read it. Get out there and read it, guys.
so
Pretty sure I told you to read that after I read it in high school, and you didn't.
Well,
So anyway, focus grasshoppers. This UFO comes and it shines light down on him, and he's kind of like.
Well, I don't think we see the UFO at this point. We just see the tractor beam.
Yeah, we do. We see the UFO, don't we? Because he looks up, and that's when he sees the UFO.
We see the tractor beam, then he looks up, is what I'm
Oh
saying.
my gosh, you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I'm pedantic.
And so this little alien guy beams down, and he's the cutest little guy. And if anybody out there who listens to our podcast knows where I can buy one to add to
Have you
my
looked on Etsy?
collection, I've looked everywhere.
He's adorable. He's a little claymation
He's
alien.
a little claymation, and he has his little bucket, and he's like, twinkle tweet. And of course the guy's like, he doesn't talk, he just kind of makes noise.
He's
Basically, I don't have anything.
Yeah, he's checking his pockets like real fast, and
Yeah.
then he like
I
does
do
the shrug,
think-
like, "Oh, sorry, don't have anything."
I do think it's really cute though, because it's not like he immediately like goes to killing the alien or anything. He does like make an effort.
Yeah.
I think it's so
the alien
cute.
says it like 3 or 4 times, like twinkle tweet.
I think it's 5 times.
And
And then he keeps saying it, and the Jason guy stomps on him.
Mm-hmm.
so then, of course, this is all happening
Bigger
by
boo.
Dorothy. And so then it's just a lump of clay, but it goes into Dorothy's mouth.
Yeah. After he walks away.
And this is why I said I didn't really like this movie, because this scene is so cheesy with her just flying through the air.
Oh, it's so funny though. It's so good. Like the campiness of it is so good.
Yeah.
It's
That's-
so good.
I think it's funny. She's chasing him, and he goes and hides in the shed after he chased her, and
Yeah.
she went and hid in the shed.
I think that's one of the reasons that I see this as more of like a good. Not that Trick or Treat is a bad anthology, but I see this as like a better, in my opinion, like a better one to like sit down and watch or like put on at like a Halloween party, because the segments, even though they do have some crossover,
they are so much more easier to sit down and watch without knowing things that
Yeah.
happen in the others and not having to connect all the
Basically,
dots.
whenever she's flying through, she still has the spear through her. Her eyes are just lit up. Her body's
Yeah.
basically completely limp, and it's just her head.
Her
that's
eyes are like bright green.
Yeah.
And she's screaming.
Yeah.
So he, like we said, he runs back into the shed, and we can actually see in the background on the table that has a bunch of his tools on it, the Necronomicon is leaning up against the wall.
Which is from Evil Dead, if you don't know
Yes,
what that's
and it's
from.
also in one of the later Friday the 13th. I think it may have been a remake or something, but it's implied that Jason is a Deadite, that Pamela used it to bring him back to life, and that's why when he died, even though he died as a kid, he's alive as an adult.
Interesting.
But that also is not necessarily canon anymore because that was one director, and there's been so many different things, and it may have been a remake, and I don't know, I don't remember.
So, Dorothy gets into the cabin and they just have this all-out fight. Like
This part feels very, very Scary Movie. Like the Scary
can
Movie
see
franchise. Well, because, like,
I agree.
there's the scene, I think it's in the fifth Scary Movie, the one that, like, parodies Black Swan. There's a scene where they're, the two guys are going at each other, and they keep just pulling out bigger and bigger weapons. I think one of them is Snoop Dogg.
Guys, one of my favorite scenes from the Scary movies is in the third one, whenever she goes over to the lady's house. Anna Faris character. Also love Anna Faris. Love her so much. But anyways, and I'm very excited for the sixth Scary Movie to come out soon. Woo! But she goes over to the old lady's house, like the older lady's house, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about that vase." And she's like, "What vase?" And then she bumps into something, and then she bumps into something behind her, and a vase just falls on her head and takes her to the ground.
Also, earlier in that movie, the scene where they have the weapons, there's a scene where they're looking at a cabin, and they keep going, it's like that Scary Movie with the cabin in the woods, and
Yeah.
the guy keeps saying, like, "Oh, Evil Dead," and he's like, "No, the one with the cabin in the woods," and they just keep naming movies that have cabins in the woods.
So good. Anyways, but this one, she goes into the shed, and they both have weapons. I don't remember what
Yeah.
they
Like,
have.
he hits her in the neck with an axe, so then she hits him in the shoulder with something.
And then,
I don't think they hit neck yet.
Yeah, he does. The first hit is right here.
No, it's like in her shoulder. It's like here.
And it gets her arm off, and then she
Yeah.
cuts his arm
And
off.
the way the blood sprays when the arm cuts off, that is when I thought Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just so, like...
And it's the way the blood sprays also gives the play that Wednesday and Pugsley do in
Yeah.
The Addams Family.
But how did he start a chainsaw with one hand?
I don't know. It keeps running after he drops it. Do chainsaws do that?
Yeah, I mean, they stay on. The
Okay.
chain just doesn't turn, but...
I don't know nothing about chainsaw.
Well, what about Ash? He only has one hand. His other one's a chainsaw.
I don't know.
Crank it.
So, basically they kill each other, right?
Yeah, they chop each other's heads off. But then
No,
we see...
it's like he cuts through her shoulder, and so her shoulder's she's partially split in half.
No, he cuts her head off. He does do that, but then he cuts her head off,
Yeah.
and then her headless body cuts his head off.
Yeah. It's very, it's I'd say Terrifier level gore with a sense of humor that's like Scary Movie.
I wouldn't even say Terrifier level gore because it's not super realistic.
The part whenever he cuts into her shoulder is pretty...
Yeah, but like when the blood sprays from the hand, it's like, I mean, when they cut the arm, it's not very
Yeah,
realistic
that's
and
true.
stuff, so.
I just watched Terrifier last night, guys.
But
I
I
wanted
think
to bring it up.
I think it's fun that they flipped the roles to where it's like the final girl is chasing the bad guy.
Yeah.
But then the alien crawls out of her severed head and looks at the camera and says, "Tweak or tweet."
And he's just the cutest little guy. So,
And
if
then he gets picked back up by the...
Yeah, we see him like
spaceship.
like Star Trek fade away.
Yeah.
if anybody knows where to get one, or if they make them, or whatever, I need an alien from this movie.
Yeah. Okay, time for our next story. It's the ransom of something.
It's the ransom of Rusty Rex. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this one to me is so boring, but again, it reminds me of the ransom of...
It's a parody of Ransom of Red Chief.
Yep, that's it.
It's 100% an intentional parody, especially with the name. I like it. I think it fits with the vibe of the movie. I think it fits a lot better than the bicycle story.
But basically, it starts with them following a little boy.
Well, first let me say this. It starts with two guys sitting outside of a house in a van, and they remind me so much of the characters from Home Alone.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
kind of their dynamic. Like, the one is like the leader, and the other one's kind of more the follower, and
Yeah.
he makes him wear the princess mask, and he wears like a zombie mask.
So their whole plan is to kidnap a rich guy's son
Yeah.
and hold him for ransom.
Yeah.
And so they kidnap him. They take him to a warehouse.
And this kid is wearing a tiger mask, and he is one of the kids that we saw earlier in the Hansel and Gretel story.
Yes.
The story with the witch.
Yes.
And
they take him to a warehouse, and they
Yeah.
tie him to a chair, and then they call his dad.
But he does trick or treat a little bit before they take him, which
Fits.
yeah.
So they call his dad, and the dad basically says, "You don't know what you've done. Like, I don't want him back."
Yeah.
And so then he hangs up, and so then they call the dad again, and the dad's like, "He's tortured our family for however many years."
That's not yet.
Oh.
I don't think.
And he's like, "That's your problem now."
Yeah, and he hangs up again. It's not until the third
that's
time
later,
he says all
yeah.
that. Yeah. And so the two guys turn around, and the kid has escaped his bindings.
And they, like, when they call him the third time, they're like, "Please, what do we do?" They're like,
But
sobbing.
that's not yet, though.
Oh, my God.
So they start running around and trying to lock the doors and stuff so he can't get out. And then they get attacked, and he's like some kind of like demon creature. He doesn't look quite as demonic as the one we saw earlier. Yeah. Or even the devil, but he does look kind of like that. Like he's kind of got...
He kind of reminded me of the bankers in Harry Potter. The goblins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks a lot more evil
Grimgrot.
and scarier than them, but that's kind of what...
And the torment that he does reminds me of whatever the main guy is in Trick or Treat.
Sam.
Yeah.
He does kind of... I said this earlier, but he does kind of remind me of Imp, because Imps are known to be like mischievous creatures that kind of prank, and he kind of somewhat has that vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know the two guys' names. I know the one is Dutch.
I don't
Not
know.
the leader. There's the leader and then there's Dutch. But they managed to knock Rusty out. Rusty is the demon kid. And they wrap him up in like a tarp, and then they chain him up, and they're taking him to like a swamp to dump him. And when they're getting ready to do it, Dutch is like, "I can't do this. Here, do you hear him crying? He sounds like a little kid." So they open the top of the thing to check on him, and when they do, he throws up on Dutch's face. And Dutch is like,
"Never mind."
yeah, he's like, "I don't care anymore." So they throw him into the thing. And then they get back in their van and drive back to the warehouse. Well, when they walk back into the warehouse, and there's wet footprints on the floor. And I think the candy bucket is turned over, too. So they follow the wet footprints, and they end up getting attacked by him again. And this is when they call the dad for the third time. And the dad explains he showed up 5 years ago on Halloween and wouldn't leave, and he says you need to feed him or he will find a way to eat.
So then they end up going to a gas station.
Don't they drop him off at his back at the dad's house?
Yes, and they pour gasoline on him and light him on fire outside the front door.
Yes.
And then they leave. And they're like, "We're just going to leave town, screw this town, we're going to get out of here." And then when they're stopped at a gas station, the leader guy goes in and Dutch stays in the car. And then do you want to say that part, Ray, because you started to talk?
And then the leader guy comes back out, and Dutch is dead.
Yes.
How is he dead? I don't remember.
The demon, Rusty, holds up his severed head and then takes a bite of it.
Yeah.
So, they didn't feed him, so he ate.
Yeah,
And when he first gets in the car, when the leader first gets in the car, Rusty's eating a candy bar. And then he puts his candy bar down and holds up the severed head and takes a bite of it.
Yeah. And so then the guy just...
The leader guy, I think, is crying.
Yeah, he's just crying.
And that's kind of how the story ends.
Yeah.
It's kind of like he just accepted his fate.
Yeah.
So, I think next is our last story.
So, what did you guys think of that one? I know Rayleigh said it was boring.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I feel like it fit, but it's probably the least engaging one, in my opinion. I don't know why. It just wasn't my favorite. But it wasn't bad.
I think that's my problem with anthologies sometimes, and that's probably why I like Trick or Treat a little bit better than this one. I love the stories in this one, but I like that interconnectivity to where you actually kind of get to know your characters. And I feel like some of these, and I feel this way about this one was so short that it was you're just getting into the story and then it's over.
Well, and it's kind of the thing with VHS, those movies. The thing with those is there's a lot of good segments, but there's also segments that aren't great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with even SNL. It's there's some good bits, but there's also some bad bits. But
this one might be somebody's favorite too.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing. Horror's subjective, so that's That's one of the reasons I like short stories so much, is because, like, I'll read short story collections, and if I don't like this story, guess what? It's only like 20 pages, and then I can read the next one.
Right. And you don't feel like a failure if you stop in the middle of a story.
Yeah.
And go to the next one.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't finish the book, I just skipped one. Okay, so then our last story.
Yeah, we start with a guy...
Wait, the name of it is Bad Seed.
Okay. We start with a guy that is carving a pumpkin. And it's kind of shot horror movie-esque. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of... It's like quick cuts, and it's almost like something like a person being taken apart. But what he's doing is just carving pumpkins.
Yeah.
And again, this reminds me of the cold open to, like, Supernatural or, like, a cop show or something.
Yeah.
And so he's carving the pumpkin, and then he sees the jack-o'-lantern move, and then I'm assuming girlfriend is upstairs, and she comes down and sees, and the pumpkin attacked him and bit his head off, and we see it like scurry away.
Which the pumpkin graphics are cheesy and
The
ridiculous.
wife also sees it scurry away.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
The graphics are cheesy and goofy, but I love them.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
thought they were
But
so cool. I mean, it's a pumpkin, so
Yeah.
we don't really see pumpkins eating people, but
the woman that comes downstairs, the wife or girlfriend or whatever, she's dressed as a cat girl, and I think she was in 2 other stories. I think she was in the Demon Kid story, and I think she was in the story with the devil. I think she's the girl that the devil says nice outfit to. Not the one he gets the autograph from, but the girl he says nice outfit to is in a cat outfit, but I didn't go back and look and make sure it was the same girl. And maybe it was just multiple people wearing cat costumes, but I think it was the same girl.
Okay.
And I could be wrong.
I didn't catch that.
Okay. So then we kind of switch to a cop, and it's Detective McNally, and it's her kind of arriving on the scene, and she says like a line where she says, "This is almost as bad as the time the guy committed suicide by sticking his head in a blender." And this whole segment feels so much like a procedural cop show. Like, it feels like they took an episode of a procedural cop show and made it like a little horror story, or like it feels like it could be like a pilot to a TV show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the wife is in there with when she arrives, the wife is already talking to the sketch artist, and I think this is kind of stupid. He sketched it with a green and orange crayon.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. They're just like unwrapped crayons, and I don't know if they were unwrapped because he was using them to draw like that, or if they were doing that like for within the movie. They didn't want to like have Crayola crayons shown or anything. But yeah, he draws with those, and from what I know, sketch artists usually do it like a black and white photo.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would. And he only in his hand only has a green and orange crayon.
But it's so funny because what does she say when she looks at it? Thanks, Rembrandt, or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what she says. And again, it feels very like procedural cop show. Like, it feels like the thing that they do in Supernatural when they're parodying one.
Yeah.
Like, and then it shows her going back to the... Sorry, what?
Do what?
It shows her going back to the precinct.
No, not yet.
Oh.
We see the sketch of what he drew, and it is a jack-o'-lantern with like vines coming off of it.
And of course, no cop is gonna believe that your husband was killed by a pumpkin.
Yeah. So they just think she's like shaken up. Although the way they react in this, it's almost like they don't care that there's this like evil pumpkin that's alive, because they never act shocked about it.
Well, they've kind of had a heck of a night though, with everything going on in their town.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. Anyway, so now we cut to we see a kid named Kevin, not that that matters, but he's with his mom, and mom says, "Wait up, don't knock on any doors without me." Well, Kevin sees a singular jack-o'-lantern at a dark house. So he walks up to the jack-o'-lantern on the porch, and he sees little gold coins in its mouth that like are obviously those chocolate gold coins. And when he reaches his arm to get one, the pumpkin bites down, and it's the jack-o'-lantern from before. Well, then the mom comes up, and she just sees the last of him getting eaten. Like, she sees the legs.
Feet, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's his legs sticking out. So now we cut to McNally at the precinct.
Yeah. And you're going in and you're kind of hearing like other people talk, and they're talking about how like these kids went crazy.
Not yet. She gets called into the captain's office. This captain says everyone goes crazy on Halloween, mentions, I think, 3 of the other stories, and then after she leaves, there's 2 guys outside the office that are talking about some of the other stories. But yes, that does happen, but not till after. She gets called into the captain's office. The captain, again, this feels very, I keep saying this, but this feels very procedural cop show. He says...
I just think it's cool because they're starting to bring...
everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I said at the beginning, the only through line, really, other than the radio host, is that it all takes place in the same town.
Yeah.
Because he says, he lists off a few things. He lists off the first story, the kid gutting his babysitter because she ate his candy. I don't remember what the second thing he lists is. And then he says, and
Neighbors
someone even
fighting.
reported seeing a UFO.
Neighbors fighting each other was one of the ones he said.
Okay, yeah. So then he says, and this, it's such like a made for TV line. He says, "You're just the man to do this," and threatens to send her back to Vice if she doesn't get stuff done tonight. Which is such like she's a loose cannon cop in like a cop show. It's just so funny to me that it's so ingrained in that. So then
I think he's a cop who's on the...
What?
Oh, I'm trying to quote that BoJack thing. Never mind.
Okay. Then this guy comes up to her and is like, "Hey, I got a 3D render of what the thing that bit would have looked like, and it looks like a jack-o'-lantern, like the mouth of a jack-o'-lantern." And she's like, "Thanks." And then and he says, "Buy me a drink later." And she said, "I can't tonight," or "I can't," or "not right now," or "no," or something. And she walks out. So then we just see her kind of driving down the street, and then there's a reporting that there's chaos going down on this one street. So she turns down the street, and we see the pumpkin walking down the street using its little vines to pull itself along. It reminds me of Krang from TMNT when he's not in his suit. He just has his little tentacles pulling himself along.
It reminds me of the little brain from Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm. But the fire, there's fire here. It looks like, I think, a car's on fire, and there's like some fire in like a field to the right. The fire is so bad. They just did not incorporate any lighting effects. It just looks like it was layered on top.
I feel like that's a consistent thing, is the fire is not good.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think these are the only 2 stories that had fire.
And also the witch.
Yeah, but the fire and the witch I don't think looked bad, but I think that was because it was behind the glass. Did you think it looked bad?
Especially
Not
when
in
you shove
the oven,
Hansel
but
in.
when she shoved Hansel in, I did. That was really pathetic.
Really cheesy.
I probably was taking notes.
But guys, it's camp. That's why we like this movie, because
Yes.
it's so campy and cheesy.
So anyway, she sees the jack-o'-lantern actually attacking people, and she chases it. It runs into a backyard, and the backyard is full of pumpkins, so she's going around and looking at all the pumpkins, trying to figure out which one it is. And I think she hears a noise.
It's supposed to be like one of those scenes that's scary, where you walk in and there's all these mannequins and you don't know who the real killer is and all that.
Or kind of like the scene from Phantom of the Opera when Raoul's trying to get the Phantom, and it's like the mirrors.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah.
But again, the way she goes in the backyard, she like draws her gun and she like checks her corners and stuff. It, again, very much reminds me of like a procedural cop show, where she's like chasing the unsub into the backyard.
Can you tell he watches Criminal Minds?
But so while she's back there, she hears a noise, so she shoots 2, and she like empties her gun, which she only shoots 2 bullets, I'm pretty sure. But then her gun is empty. Because the jack-o'-lantern like growls behind her or something, she turns around and tries to shoot it, and she's out of bullets. And then she does like, she tries to do like a roll or like a jump over the table and completely whiffs it and just falls on the ground. And it's so funny. But then when she's lying there on the ground again, like I said, she's out of ammo. She hears a voice, and it's the guy that had the 3D scan of the mouth. He goes, "McNally," and throws her the shotgun, and she's like, "Nice timing," and shoots the pumpkin. And then
Procedural cop show.
Well, she says nice timing. He says, "I thought you need a hand," and then she says, guess I owe you that drink now." And that, it's just such procedural cop show dialogue.
So she goes over and picks up a piece of the pumpkin that has a tag on the pumpkin that says Clover Corp.
It says Super Pumpkins and Clover Corp.
And Clover Corp is a reference to Halloween 3, which, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. So many people hate on Halloween 3, and I get it, because it's not a typical Halloween like in that series. if you take Halloween 3 as a standalone kind of anthology of its own and don't look at it as, and I always do this, is it Michael Myers that's Halloween?
Yes.
Or Jason?
Jason is Friday the 13th. Michael is Halloween.
I haven't seen Halloween either.
If you don't take it as a sequel to 1 and 2 of Halloween, you take it as a standalone movie, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the original intention with the Halloween franchise is they were going to do horror movies for every holiday.
Yeah.
They started with Halloween, and then they kind of talked about doing what they did with Season of the Witch, where each movie is just its own thing on Halloween, but Michael Myers was so popular they brought him back for the second, and the third one they're like, well, let's try that. And then people were mad because Michael Myers wasn't in it, and they felt like they got scammed. But that movie is so good. That movie is such a good Halloween movie, separate from the Halloween franchise.
Right. And I think it would be a cult classic and a favorite if they hadn't called it Halloween 3.
I think it's kind of come more into like notice and become more of a cult classic lately.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was cool that they referenced that. And I've got, when we get to the end of it, I've got several references I want to go through that I found.
But they go inside, or they go to Clover Corp, and they kind of intimidate the scientists and letting them begin, which again feels very like those shows.
Yeah, guys, remember, because they talk about how, like, he asks if they have a warrant, and she intimidates him to go in. Guys, just remember, if they don't have a warrant, don't let them in.
Exactly. They legally can't be there. If a police officer wants to talk to you at your front door, and you have a screen door, leave the screen door locked and closed and talk to them through the door.
And on top of that, even if they do have a warrant, don't let them in until they have a no-knock warrant.
We are not supporting criminal activity on our podcast.
We're just also not supporting every police officer that randomly goes into people's homes. I think it's something like 50% of cops beat their wives. Like, it's very, very high. Anyway,
Let's not get too political.
Too late. Okay, so they're like,
you want
show
the
us.
podcast to turn into me and Mom arguing.
They're like, show us where the super pumpkins are at, and he's like, I can't give up company secrets. And they intimidate him again, and he leads them back into a room that just looks like miles and miles of pumpkins. I think it's mirrors.
You know what that scene reminded me of, though?
Well,
Have you
first
seen...
of all, you go into this big room, and you just see, like, a normal-sized pumpkin patch, and then he flips on the lights, and it's
I don't think you see a normal-sized pumpkin patch. It's all dark. And then he flips the lights on, and we just see them talking at first, and they're like, "Oh crap!" And then it flips
come
around.
on like one by one,
Yeah.
and it's just more and more and more pumpkins. Like we're talking millions of pumpkins here.
This scene reminds me of iRobot.
Yeah,
Where
with all the robots.
Where they turn the lights on, and it's like, you've got 10, and then there's 10,000.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure it's just mirrors. I think there's just one strip of pumpkins, and then it's all mirrors. On the sides, at least.
Well, not like... Maybe for the... Like, not like canon.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not saying within canon. I'm saying I think the way they did it, because it kind of looks like that. Yeah. Did you guys catch that?
No.
Like, there's, like, pillars that look like they're repeating and stuff. It looks like it's just the same pumpkins reflected over and over to make it look bigger.
But the biggest point is they're like, oh shit.
There's a bunch of these super pumpkins.
Yeah. These evil...
Yeah. And that is where the movie ends, but there is something funny at the end of the credits. I don't know if you guys saw this, but It says, animals were not hurt during the making of this movie, but we sure killed a lot of pumpkins.
Also, like, it ends with the radio host ending her show and telling everyone to have a good All Hallows Eve and stuff.
And then it actually technically does end with a tribute to the guy who played the demon creature in...
Ben Wolf.
Yeah. The demon creature. Did he play both, or did he just play...
I don't know.
Rusty?
I'm not sure. I would guess probably both.
That's what I was thinking, but...
But overall, genuinely, this is a movie that I watch every year around Halloween time. I discovered it when I was, like, about 15 on Netflix, and I literally fell in love with it from the first time, and now
I think you made everyone watch it.
Yeah,
you had me watch it.
I made you watch it. I made Brielle watch it last year for Halloween. Did I make you watch it?
When you still lived at home.
I recently made my boyfriend and my best friend / roommate watch it.
So, a couple things I want to throw out there. Just some tidbits. One of the kids trick-or-treating is dressed up as Snake Plissken, who's the main character from John Carpenter's Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. In Sweet Tooth, the parents are played by Greg Grunberg and Claire Kramer. They don't say their character names on screen, but the credits show them as Alex Mathis and Lieutenant Brandon Mathis. In the movie, in the movie Big Ass Spider, which I've not seen, but the same actors play the characters Alex Mathis and Lieutenant Carly Brandt, who become a couple by the end of the movie.
That was also
He's also wearing the same exterminator coveralls he wore in Big Ass Spider.
that was also the director of that segment.
Oh.
The guy that directed that. I'm pretty sure it was that segment because I looked into him because his name sounded familiar, and then I was like, oh, he hasn't really worked on anything I've seen, but his name just sounded familiar.
And then in Bad Seed, the last one, at the police station, a cop is seen bringing someone in patient scrubs covered in crosses and crucifixes. This is the reference to John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness from 1994.
Is that it?
The bulk of the movie was shot in 2 days. And I think that was it.
Okay. Did you have any final thoughts, Ray?
No, I just recommend this movie. I think you should watch it.
It's a perfect movie to put on and have in the background, like at a Halloween party, because someone can just sit down and watch one segment. And,
I agree.
yeah. So watch it if you haven't seen it.
I enjoy it.
I also would like to say hi to Ari and Eli.
Hi. Watch it. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you have any suggestions for other anthologies we should watch, let us know. Next week we're tackling my favorite one,
Trick or
Trick or Treat.
And the week after, we're doing Sam's 10th anniversary collection, the graphic novel that collects Trick or Treat, the original comic series that is a redo of the movie, and then not redo, but a adaptation of the movie, and then the sequel series, Days of the Dead.
And then for our last anthology, I believe we're doing Graveyard Stories.
Yes.
If
we
we
watch
have not
it and we think
seen
it's
it,
good enough.
but if we watch it and we decide we want to do it, that's our 4th one for October.
Someone that worked on Troma worked on it.
So, let us know in the comments what you think of Tales of Halloween, and have a good evening.
And guys, thank you for having me.